Hi, welcome to ThreatTraq Essentials. I'm here this week with Matt Kaiser. How are you, Matt?
Doing all right, Don. How about you?
Great. Let's talk about some of the lessons we can learn from this week's ThreatTraq stories. First up, there was another Microsoft bug, this time called Print Nightmare.
Yep, that's true. So this was a bug in the print spoor of Windows machines, which is related to print functionality, as I'm sure you've all guessed. Turns out that this was originally mistaken for a different bug for escalating an attacker's privileges on a machine. Turns out, in researching that, a different group found an even more significant bug that allowed you to do remote code execution. So send your code to somebody else's machine or remotely exploit it.
So how do you protect yourself from this bug?
So there are patches available. Most people don't have to worry about it because it was specific to a certain configuration that's not the default. So most people won't even have the settings in place that make them vulnerable. But if you do work in a corporate environment where you might be using the point to print feature of Windows, it's worth looking into those settings, making sure that you're patched. And if the settings are what puts you in a vulnerable configuration, change them to something that doesn't make you vulnerable.
Karen brought us a story about some bad stuff that's happening with LinkedIn, where LinkedIn profiles are being scraped for information. Tell me about it.
Yep. So this is apparently an ongoing thing where people scrape the contents of the public profiles of LinkedIn and then sell those scraped contents as a complete database. This includes things that you make public on your profile or you share with other users by default. Some people share their email addresses, phone numbers, other contact information, birth dates, things like that. In short, anything that you chose to share with regular LinkedIn users could potentially be in these scraped databases.
So what should LinkedIn users do to protect their profiles?
Well, at this point, it can't hurt to reset your password. I realize that's a frustrating thing to do, but in general, it's good to do this periodically, so you may want to start with that. You should also take a look at what it is you share with other LinkedIn users. If you don't intend to be sharing your phone number, your email address, or personal information, remove it from your profile. I personally don't share those sorts of things. I don't really see a need to it. People can contact me on LinkedIn through that LinkedIn messaging system. So providing contact information in that fashion doesn't really serve me. So I would recommend that folks do the same, minimize the amount of personal information that they share on LinkedIn. Consider seeing if it's still worth it for you to have a profile or an active profile, that is. I mean, some folks don't really need to use LinkedIn all that often unless they're actively searching for a job. For other folks, it's a daily thing. It's one of their regular social media hotspots. So I would take a look at that, see what it actually means to you to have a presence on LinkedIn.
And Tony told us about a bug with some SolarWinds software. This is something completely different than the SolarWinds attack we've talked about in the past few months. Tell me about this bug.
Sure. So this is a bug affecting only the ServU FTP software that SolarWinds provides. They do make a lot of different software, so I think it's important to clarify that this is unrelated to the earlier Sunburst activity that they experienced this year. This only has to do with their one set of FTP software. There is a patch out there for it. They recommend that if you are in a certain version prior to 15.2.3 that you update to a newer version and then apply the patch, that you'll be covered. But I would like to stress again, this is unrelated to the stuff that happened earlier this year, but it is something that if you are running this particular set of software, it's a good idea to go ahead and patch it.
Okay, well, thanks for all that great information, Matt. Thank you all for watching. To keep up with this great information every week, please like or subscribe below. And if you want to take a deeper look at any of these stories, just click on them and watch them in their entirety. We'll see you next time.